A wet paper towel indicates that it has fulfilled its purpose. When a paper towel is dry, it suggests that it has not yet been used. It is pure and untainted, or, at the very least, temporarily unscathed in the hands of a consumer. That is, until they decide to dry their hands with it. Suddenly, its fibrous composition changes quickly into a heavy, soggy wad of what used to be. However, the consumer can decide whether they want to discard it or reinvent it for a separate purpose. A wet paper towel does not have to indicate that there's no longer any use for it. Instead, it can find a greater purpose. It should go beyond its highest perceived potential if given the chance. If a wet paper towel can be used again, then its consumer will see the true value in the resources. Nothing deserves to be discarded until it's seen all that it can achieve. A wet paper towel can be used in a myriad of different ways, such as cleaning a surface, wiping dirt, or even providing companionship. I was 17 years old when I decided to withdraw from homeschooling. 17 is a difficult age to not know how to interact in a human environment. Emerging into the world of public education, I had trouble making friends and establishing genuine relationships with people. I became attached to things that were intangible to my reality to fill the void, such as fictional characters and dystopian societies. I would be mentally dating a certain celebrity, or daydreaming about living inside of a movie with all of my favorite characters in it to feel less alone. All I allowed myself to do was dream or indulge in my escapist fantasies because I was too afraid of actively pursuing something bigger than myself. My lack of social skills plagued my confidence, and therefore my abilities to invest in myself. I didn't attempt to reach my highest potential because I didn't think that I could get my feet off the ground. As time went on, spending time on my own only deepened my self-doubt and my attachment to things that couldn't love me back. However, never did I ever think that I'd be so far gone that I'd become emotionally attached to an inanimate object. On my last day of high school, I reflected on my first and only year in public education in the bathroom stall. It was my safe space where I could go to hide during breaks and lunches. I sat on the toilet seat contemplating my time in school and how I had lived my best memories inside my own head. Suddenly, I was flooded with a deep sense of regret for the adolescent experiences that I had deprived myself of. Not only did I not have any real friends, but I also did not make an effort to discover my passions or establish my own identity. I spent my time alone in the bathroom or at home, becoming attached to things that didn't serve me. Sitting on that toilet for too long and thinking started to make my hips hurt, in correspondence to the rest of my body that was stiff and achy. I decided in that moment that enough was enough. It would be my last day of high school before I became a college student. I still had time to become the person that I wanted to be, if only I could just get out of the bathroom stall and make a connection. I knew that I couldn't develop the life skills that I wanted for myself if I didn't gain a new perspective. Little did I know that I'd meet the right friend for my situation right outside of my bathroom stall. I took my time washing my hands at the sink as I mentally prepared to go outside and begin a new life for myself. The water began to feel cold as the lingering tension rose up my shoulders. I turned off the sink and began to dry my hands with a paper towel. I took my time once again, drying my hands with it, slowly and thoughtfully absorbing all of the water from my skin. I knew that once I threw it away, I had to walk out the door. After it had fulfilled its purpose, I proceeded to have it in my hands, drying whatever remnants of wetness I had left. I realized I was stalling, but I could not yet bring myself to go out in public view with my newfound awareness. I contemplated my personal failures in the bathroom with a wet paper towel in my hands as the solitude began to seep into my brain. It was like that paper towel began to speak to me. It didn't, of course, but I began to feel a sense of companionship from it. I could not bring myself to throw it away. It stuck to my hand, which meant a lot to me as a lonely teenager. Without thinking, I decided to keep it in my back pocket and finally exit the bathroom. I promised myself that that would be my last attachment to something that wasn't real. I go outside and look around my campus for people, for anyone, whether they might be alone or in a group of friends. The wet paper towel was beginning to seep through my jeans, and I began to question my sanity once again. I could not bring myself to throw it away because I had formed an emotional attachment to it, and it kept me grounded. Although it was limiting my movement, I wasn't anxious walking around campus with it in my back pocket. When I held that paper towel in my hands, I was making the first promise to myself that I knew I would keep. For no reason at all, it gave me the strength to walk around the quad during lunch instead of hiding. It was even better that somehow I had harnessed the confidence to show my face around my peers with a wet stain on my pants. It was an abnormal thing to have, of course, and I caught many of my classmates staring at me. One of them began to approach me, and I feared what she might say. However, she graciously warned me about the stain on my pants and offered to help cover it up. We went to the bathroom and she helped me dry off of my pants. She was very kind in warning me about the stain and didn't ask any questions on how it happened. Instead, she offered me her jacket to cover it up. We hit it off and laughed about it in the bathroom together. "Can I let you in on a little secret?" she asked. I thought it was strange that she didn't ask me any questions, and I feared that she might ask what's in my back pocket. Instead, she pulled out a Ziploc bag with a wet paper towel in it from her own jean pocket. "Keep it in a plastic bag next time. Nobody will ever know." That girl became my first real friend.